You know, my emotions were really what's been getting in my way for all these years now. Not allowing me to process stuff, making me want to run. I didn't even know that I had the ability to do that.
Right.
You know, and life is full of challenges. Like, you can choose your pain that's going to help you grow, or pain that's just misery.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Full Belly Podcast. My name is Matt Bell, and on this show, we love to talk about how our lives used to be completely empty, how we've got them to be filled up with good things, and how we're going to keep them full. And we have a great guest named Jen who's going to be on with us today. I'm going to introduce her here shortly. Before we do that, I want to ask anybody that's watching this right now, please take a moment to just follow us or subscribe on whatever platform you're watching this on. And when you're done watching it, please share it with somebody. It's our goal to try to get this in as many people's hands as humanly possible. We have Juan, who's our co-host. You guys know Juan. He's here today. He's here, and he's clear. Mm-hmm. Because we're politically correct.
That's right.
And we're going to do things right, whether you like it or not.
Cheerio.
Juan just got out of an ice bath, so he's feeling great.
It's a lie.
We were talking about it, though, and it'd be a lot cooler if he did just get out of an ice bath. And I think that what we're going to do is potentially be in an ice bath for one of our episodes.
Let's do it, dude. Please.
In separate ice baths.
Please, let's do that.
And my ice bath is
not cold.
Not going to have ice in it.
It's not
it's
cold.
It's going to be a warm bath.
Yeah.
With fake plastic ice cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be like, what's wrong with you, dude? Why are you shivering? I'm straight.
Just talking normally to me.
Yeah. Just chilling.
You got to mentally fortify yourself, Juan.
Speaking of mentally fortifying, I'd like to bring on our guest. Jen, why don't you come join us?
Come on in.
Jen.
Yes.
We're freaking here. We were just talking about, welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We, God, I wish the camera could see Jen's slippers. These are like the most amazing
Put them things up in there, Jen.
Hey. I mean, can you see that? Those things look so comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We should start wearing those every episode.
We should.
I believe that it's a good idea.
Do a pajama episode or something where we're like in matching PJs.
Yeah. Like we did in our trip down to Florida, remember? The elf or the Christmas onesies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What you're thinking of. Yours was a little too small.
It was.
So it was kind of cutting up in areas where it's not supposed to cut up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I had hills and valleys going on.
It's a nice way of putting it, man. It's a nice way of putting it. We were all just kind of chatting about, God, we had actually discussed a few really good things. We had AI, the writer's strike. Is that right? Is that what it's called? The writer's strike or the
Actors
strike? Well, there's a writer's strike right now going on too. But the actors strike because of the AI shit, dude. This stuff is just so wild.
It's nuts, dude.
So tell me what you know about this, because I know that, you guys were talking about it a little bit before I walked in.
Well, it's Marvel, right? Marvel's the actors in the Marvel theme or whatever it is. A lot of them are on strike because the Marvel studio is the Marvel studio. Oh God, I can't handle my life.
I think you mean the Marvel actors.
That's right. Let's lock back in here, guys. All right.
I was supposed to be nervous.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's great.
It's fine. I know what I'm doing. But the Marvel, go ahead, Jen, take it from here.
The Marvel actors are upset that they can be cloned and used in however the producers would like to use them. They don't even have to be there.
First of all, that's absolutely like mind blowing.
It is.
That's crazy that we're in a place like that where that can happen. Like film you one time and now I've got your whole image, and normally it would take somebody. I mean, how long does it take to produce a movie, you think? Like years, right? Like sometimes
months,
these things
years.
are depending on where they're at and where they're shooting and all this stuff. So like if I'm an actor and I'm negotiating a contract or whatever for a movie, I'm like, dude, this is 2 years of my time.
Right.
I need $100 million. To where now it's like, they're filming. I'm going to film you for 2 months.
And it learns your body language. It learns everything about you through all this other stuff.
I don't need you anymore.
Right.
So instead of $100 million, I'm going to give you $2 million.
That's insanity, dude. That's wild.
However, why would they not? If they have the ability and the technology to do, how is this any different than anything else that's ever happened, like through civilization?
True.
Right? Everything has always gotten more efficient, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just go back to doing like plays, you know what I mean? Like old school plays, actors like, we're on strike, and they just set up like traveling plays or like Marvel, you know?
That'd be amazing. Just no microphones or anything.
Yeah.
No lights. Just lanterns lit on the stage.
Yeah. Backdrops with flames that are like actually felt, you know?
Yeah.
There's fire burning.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess this is going to happen to a lot of people.
It is.
Like, you know, we were talking about, it's like I've written up like amendments to contracts with things, you know, and then I've ran them past legal and they're like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I can get that information for free.
Easily.
Like AI in a lot of different ways is going to replace a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of people too, right? Like if you can figure out how to wisely tap into it and use it for your benefit. And I think that most people, places, whatever can, you know, but like we're at that point.
It's a new tool.
Actors, you might have to pivot a little bit. It is what it is. Like
Everybody
has to learn how to pivot.
Yeah.
Make sure that what you have is something that is not like replaceable.
The things
and if it is, then you need to have a backup plan. I don't know what else to tell you.
The things that involve me personally, right? Me as a person, I can't use Chat GPT for.
Correct.
But I can be more efficient in my day-to-day things, right? There's a lot of things in my day-to-day where I can say I want to create this or do that or have this, but it can't take away the fact that I'm sitting here in front of you. You got to look me in the eyes and you're going to hear my voice.
Right.
You know, like it can't take away that. How do I affect the world as an individual? But it absolutely can, you know, make my life easier in many ways. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to use it because it's AI and I don't know about it. Yo, first of all, dog, there's like 20 instruments in this room right now that are listening to everything we're saying, regardless, whether we want to believe it or we don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to just like sit in a Faraday suit yourself all day long?
Right.
No. Like it's collecting the data from everybody, including yourself anyway.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, and I might as well use it, you know? I mean, it's just what it is.
It is what it is, dude. And like, it's just this is not the last time that things like this will happen.
No.
You know, and again, going back as far as we can possibly, like train used to be the way that people got around, dude. And then like cars fucking hit and then planes hit.
Right.
Like postal service used to be the way we communicated, bro. And now we email each other. We text, you know, like postal service is struggling financially.
Oh, I might send a telegram.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just how like this is evolution. Like we're figuring out how to do things smarter. And so so we take the emotion and the fame out of what these actors bring to the table. And it's like, oh, we deserve this 100 million per episode or per, it's like, no, you don't deserve it any more than anybody else on the world deserves anything. Like be ready, everybody, because everybody is replaceable. Like AI is going to do a lot of shit in bad ways too. We were talking about how it's like, people are using it for fucking crime and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like using it to hold people
kidnapping.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's scary. Yeah. Now that part scares me.
That's terrifying, dude.
Because we used to just take people's words on things like, hey, this guy punched me in the face. All right. We're going to court. Now there's fucking cameras everywhere.
Right.
Video proof of things that happened is like what we use as humans to say like, all right, it must be the truth. Right. Like video proof equals truth to us. That's not the case anymore.
No.
Like we're now moving into an era where video proof is not necessarily the truth because it's fake.
Right.
We can easily, like someone could easily create a video of me punching you in the face or like kidnapping somebody or something like that. And it wasn't fucking me.
Yeah. Or take your voice.
Or like anything. Like you can go ruin someone's life now, bro. With technology, you can go ruin someone's life. You can make it look like they stole, they broke a law, they cheated on their loved one. Like you can fuck somebody up with AI.
Yeah.
So that part sucks. That part's really, really scary. I don't know. I might get hip to it though. Mess with a few people.
Yeah. You better not mess with me because I can look you in your eyes.
You better not mess with me because I can look at your eyes.
Right. I'm going to watch a video and I'll be like, nah, he ain't did it. I can tell. I look at his mouth. You'll know everything by the way he moves his mouth. Just
what do you mean? Explain. Because you try to tell me this every single time, and I don't know what you mean.
There's different nuances in your body language, and when you're expressing certain things attached to certain emotions, where you either swallow, your mouth and your lips do certain things, and I can understand some of what you're feeling or thinking behind it, and when you're lying, especially.
So what does my mouth do, or how did I do when I lie?
It's hard to explain. You do this thing with your lips where like they kind of drag down a little bit, but you're.
How frequently do you lie that he knows this?
Seriously. Am I just a daily
it's
liar,
like when we're messing around. A lot of times when we're messing around and you're trying to
you mean BSing?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's a lie at first.
Just call me like when you're a piece of shit liar. This is what you do.
No, I'm just fucking around.
We're just fucking playing.
I know you're joking by the way your mouth looks, bro. I know it. Certain things, man. Or when you're mad or you're upset. I can tell.
What do I do when I'm mad?
Certain look with your eyes, and your jaw.
Like what?
I can tell in your jaw.
What do I do with my jaw?
Your jaw clenches, but your eyes squint up a little bit, and they look.
Isn't that what every human does when they're upset, bro?
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's just the universal gesture for anger.
I know,
emoji.
but it is
exactly.
But
Even the emoji does that, bro.
But when you're not trying to express
trying to tell me that he's got these telltale signs, bro. The emoji does.
Well, you're not.
It's
fucking
not
out
just
here.
me.
You're not like walking around when you're mad at people. Like I'm mad. You know, I'm so mad right now. Don't talk to me.
He's like, like when you wink, he's like, bro, I know you when you wink, dude. Like one of your eyes closes and the other one stays open. You know what I mean? Like I know when you're winking, bro. You don't even know when you're winking.
They might,
but I know when you're winking.
Nobody else knows, but I can tell, dude. I know you.
That's too good.
Yeah, they just said certain things.
What else should we talk about?
I don't know. Tornadoes, maybe. I like tornadoes.
That's random as fuck.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it.
It's really not random. We're in Toledo, Ohio, and tornadoes have been hitting, right?
Yeah, we've had like 9 tornadoes in Toledo in the last month.
I know, bro.
We've actually had none.
We've had a couple.
We haven't had what?
What are you
Point
talking
Place.
about? Point Place, dog.
We had one.
Point Place.
Well, we've had a couple really high wind episodes too on top of it.
That's not a tornado.
I don't know if they're fucking tornadoes or not, but they seem like they are.
Definitely not a tornado.
That's not a tornado, bro.
Look, Jen.
Having a
It's
windy
definitely
day.
not been 9.
I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are. Josh, will you chat GPT how many tornadoes we've had, dog? Because they're getting in my bag right now. Period.
Tornadoes are wild, though.
They are.
They really are. It's like pretty fascinating to think about how a tornado happens out of nowhere, dude. Like
Nuts.
like that. Any like natural disasters, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, freaking forest fires, wildfires, tornadoes, dude. Like that.
Yeah.
Like I am deathly afraid of that kind of
Did you
stuff.
see the tornado in
Deathly
the point,
afraid.
dog? What happened?
Bro, I was in
What's
a
bad?
tornado. I was in a tornado
When I love that.
in 2011.
Really?
That big one that started in Dundee and then came down to Millbury.
Yeah.
Tore up Lake High School. Like 11 people
Yeah.
died
In
or something
it?
like that. I was in a house that got demolished by that tornado.
Wow.
I love that. I wish I was.
No, you don't, dude.
Storm
I'm telling you.
chaser.
Listen,
telling
you know
you,
how hey,
You know me. I would love it.
listen. You know why I don't like to go skydiving is because of that tornado.
Yeah.
Like natural,
Disaster.
excessively strong
Force.
nature elements scare the shit out of me ever since that.
It's not a
I
shark.
I don't mess with it. Anything that's like natural, wind, fire, like that stuff that is outside of my control. Since then,
You had a basement?
we were in a basement, and
you're
that's
fine.
the only reason that we were alive, dude.
Well, you're good.
Bro, I saw a guy crushed by a fucking car.
Wow.
I pulled a woman out of a pool that was broken from neck to toe.
Traumatic.
A pond, I should say. I pulled a lady out of a pond that was broken from neck to toe. Like that hearing her, I'll never forget her moans. Like, dude, it was not this cool. Oh my God, look at that building. We were in the building. We watched people get crushed. It was terrifying.
Holy moly.
Being in a house while a tornado is ripping it apart and you're just waiting for that basement ceiling to lift off. And like, can you imagine how loud that is? Like, that's what it was. It was violent. That's the best word I can think of to describe it, was just a
Yeah.
terrifying, immediate sense of violence.
I don't like the outcomes of what it brings, but I enjoy those things. You know that about me. I do. I don't like what happens. I don't like the dangerous things that can happen and how it can cause harm. But I personally like the feeling of that. I like the unsettledness. I enjoy that.
There's no way that you could enjoy a tornado, dude. Being in a tornado.
Bro, I don't know. You see me jumping out that plane, dog. I'm
not the same.
Fucking crazy.
Not the same.
The only time that
you?
I peed my pants swimming with the shark that one time
It was last week.
You're stupid.
And you weren't swimming. You were in group. Shark was
not real.
Jake Murphy. So you peed your pants.
Yo, shut up. What were we saying, Jen?
I meant Jake,
I think
I say Jake Murphy.
You did.
I meant Jake Empey.
Hey, Jake.
Whatever.
Thanks for making me pee.
Hi, Jake. I meant Jake Empey. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
So no, I definitely would not want to be in a tornado.
Yeah.
I think, as with anything, until you really experience something, you can't have the full understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
I'm open to the experience, though.
No, you're not. You should not be open to experiencing a tornado.
I mean, shoulds are shoulds and whatever. I get it. I hear you, dude. She just said you don't know what you don't know.
Just sing it to me. I
hear you, dude. I hear you. But I still I'm maybe a mild category 1 tornado.
So can you see yourself in the van chasing them like
yeah,
people do?
I can see that. I can see that for you.
Yeah, and some form of controlledness.
I can see you doing that. He's that dude on Twister that was had them little jingly bells flying off of the top and just took it too damn close and would just get super excited about it. Yeah. That's what he lived for. Yeah. When he saw an F5 come across the radar, dude.
I hate you.
Scream like it was Christmas Day.
Yeah, I would.
Got excited.
Yeah. But just being oh, a tornado was on me, just walking down the street and a tornado comes. I'm not happy about it. I'm not this is great. And I've been waiting for this. No, throw me in a car.
Good.
Maybe in a nice little bunker or something,
Nice little bunker?
Something nice and tuck me in, nestle me in.
Listen, I got to interview our last guest. I would like you to interview our guest today. Or at least begin the interview with our guest.
I'm glad that you would like me to do that, but I'm going to kindly decline.
Okay.
No, respectfully, I'm going to take that back. I just wanted to mess with you.
Okay. Jeez. I'd kindly decline, and I respectfully rescind my decline.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, we are super stoked to have you here, Jen.
Thank you.
Thinking about some things, we talked briefly. I like to get a little brief understanding. One of the things that can happen is that we can over communicate as we're finding information out that makes it really hard for us to have the conversation here. But so where are you from?
I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised. I spent 2016 in California, and besides just the immediate states, no travel experience other than that.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. What side of town? We're at in Toledo.
Everywhere, but I went to high school in Rossford, but we moved a lot when I was a kid. And then as a single mama of 4, I've lived on every side.
Single mama of 4?
Yes.
Rossford Bulldogs.
Yes.
And bullies.
Yeah.
So Rossford, really nice, right? I mean,
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most part, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. So would you say, you had a good upbringing then?
It's complicated.
Complicated.
Yeah, definitely. So my childhood has some trauma and a difficult relationship with my mom. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I did blame her. Now that I've been through a lot of the things that I've been through, I have a lot more understanding, a lot more humility about it. She definitely has been through some things, and that didn't translate really well into being a mom.
That transference, right? That mother-daughter transference, or however the dynamic with our parents are, is a huge thing. Huge thing. That's crazy that this is coming up because I was just having a conversation with somebody about this, and what happens or what can happen a lot of times when there's a mother that maybe is jealous of their daughter, which can happen when a mother's unhealthy or controlling or possessive, certain things, right? Or trying to live too strongly and vicariously through their daughter and things like that.
Yep.
It's crazy that we're having this conversation, you know, and the healing process in that conversation, they said, is when you can look back and have empathy and compassion for what caused them to be that way.
Definitely.
You feel like that's when a big switch happened for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we have a good relationship now.
Right.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
definitely.
I love that so much.
I do wish that I would have been able to come to that place a little sooner, but you can only do what you know, you know? So what I went through as a child also transferred into my children's lives. They didn't have it as bad as I did, but things definitely could have been better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't get out of it being, you know, perfect. You know, I think you know, even the perfect family, kids end up with some degree of damage from their parents in some way, shape, or form, and vice versa. But
Certainly.
it's just part of figuring it out. So when did this, you know, it's 20, how long ago did you say? 23 years ago, you said was the first time that you tried to get sober?
Yeah. So I didn't try. I had, well, we'll back up a little bit. So I had my first son when I was 19. Got introduced to exotic dancing. So I was dancing for about 5 years before I tried my first drug, which was powder cocaine. So then they wanted me to do treatment. I was very honest with them about what was going on, that I danced, that I used powder cocaine. I didn't have any legal charges as far as that went or anything of that nature. It was just, I was open about my drug use. The situation was less than ideal. They were with babysitters a lot while I worked. So anyhow, once they got involved, I made up my mind that I was going to do whatever it took. So I did. I worked and I was sober for about 18 months. I worked really hard. Got custody of my kids back. However, I was working on the external because that's all I could ever see was the external at that point. I was very fragmented from trauma, and then you throw the addiction on top of it. I just really couldn't see anything beyond what was going on immediately with me, and not even be able to see really too far into the future. And especially having so much responsibility and so much pressure on me all the time, just to be able to take care of my children.
Yeah.
So I came out of that smarter, which I've always been smart as far as being able to learn something goes, but any depth, like emotional maturity and stuff, I was really lacking. So I was smarter in the sense that I covered my bases and I went right back to what I knew, especially because dancing did something for me besides the money. I think it gave me an ability to create a new identity. And so I ran with that for a while. It made me feel really good for a while.
And the new identity wasn't the mom? Or it wasn't,
right.
it wasn't tied down? Or
well, I felt like I didn't have any identity of my own. And I was trying to figure out who I was, but I had serious misconceptions about where that should come from. So it came from material things and being able to have more control than I ever had as a child, especially I had a lot of chaos around me. So it created a need to have control, and I found it in that arena for a while.
Yeah. Dude, holy crap.
Wow. There's a lot to process in that, you know.
So much wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So much like reflection clearly spent there to try to understand.
Definitely. You know? It's very important to me to be able to understand what I've been through. And I don't know, I just have this serious desire to know and understand it.
And you have to.
I could never, I think that's, and I used to want to be that person that just said, oh my God, this sucks. I need to quit and do something different. And many times I tried, but it was so hard to internalize it because I didn't have a good understanding about everything that's involved in it. It's so complex with the trauma and emotions and being able to process all that. And I'm very resourceful. So I latched onto a lot of things, and obviously I couldn't dance forever. And when I went through an identity crisis after that, but, any scenario I put myself in, I was usually pretty adaptable and able to be successful for a short time. It never lasted very long, of course, because of my drug use and addiction. And not only that, just I think it's because it was all external and the internal couldn't line up. So it didn't last very long. I always felt like I couldn't outrun myself.
Yeah.
So I would end up, so it kind of looks like through this 23 years, I've lived my life. I used to say seasonally, like there's these seasons where I want to get better. And then there's these seasons where I thought that this other me would just show up and say, we're not doing this no more. But really I just wasn't able to, I didn't have a good enough understanding of what was happening. I didn't know how to meet challenges. I didn't know how to self-regulate. I didn't even know how to identify my emotions.
So it was like an intellectualization of a process that you didn't know how to actualize, right?
Internalize.
Yeah, internalize.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's torture because knowing, being able to know 2 + 2 is 4, but not being able to stick to that is really, it's torture.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I would want it to be that way, but it would seem like it would be a lot easier to live like that if you didn't intellectually know something should be different.
Well, I think that happens a lot, right? We're so smart. Addicts as people are like so smart. We're so resourceful
and creative.
So creative, And so I think a lot of times we come here and it's like, well, I understand. I got like this basic understanding and this knowledge about me. Like we hear a lot of smart things, and then we have people come in like, well, clearly something's missing. Well, if you know this, then why aren't you able to do this?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we get lost in this idea, like you said, that somebody else, this thing, this knowing of what I know is going to swoop in and bring me.
That's fucking it right there. That's it. You said it. I was going to say it after you said it, I was going to say it, but then you said it and now I'm going to say it. But you were, first of all, you were seeking, you said something about, I have to know, I have to like understand it and all these things. And that's a beautiful thing because not everybody's there.
Yeah.
Right. Like we can bring people in here and say, listen, we need to teach you this stuff. We need to teach you these basics. Some people are willing to receive that education. Some people are not. But that's the first step is you have to understand it, right? You have to learn it. You have to understand what the problem is, how this stuff works, how to stay. So you have to understand it, right? Then you have to apply it.
Yeah.
Right. Because we can teach you. I can explain to you what a good free throw looks like. You stand at the line and dribble a couple times, make sure you flick your wrist, make it in the basket. That's a successful bucket, right? Like that's how you make a free throw. I can teach you. You can master that. You can literally understand the mechanics of a free throw better than anybody else on this planet. But until you go out and fucking do it, until you go out and shoot a shot, right? Like you have to actually go do it. So it's only, and it talks about it in Narcotics Anonymous, it's only through understanding and application that this stuff works, that recovery works. You have to understand it first, and then you have to do the work to apply it. So that's a very, very important thing. The other thing that you said, Jen, that like really fucking I could identify with is that other identity, right? Like that other identity. I cannot tell you. I don't know if... I feel like this is just like a stupid statistic to throw out there, but I guarantee you like literally 98% of people in recovery felt that.
Yeah.
And then in a good way or a bad way, like I can understand like loving the identity of being an athlete and then losing that for whatever reason, whether it's injury or my addiction, and then having that identity crisis that you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Or not knowing who the fuck I am and saying, I'm going to go do this because somebody said this is good, or somebody said I look good doing this, or because I got a lot of compliments while I was doing that, even though like I didn't really like doing it anyway. And it wasn't like where I thought I'd end up at. Right. I remember when I was fucking young, dude, and I think about addiction like this too, like years before I ever tried substances, years. dude, I was addicted to your approval, dude. That's
Damn.
like,
Yeah.
I wanted you to accept me, and I was willing
Yes.
on Monday to be a skater kid. And on Tuesday, I was a fucking athlete. On Wednesday, I was a fucking emo punk. On Thursday, I was wearing fucking Jordans and rapping fucking Biggie and Tupac. You know, like every day I'd be somebody different so that I could fit in with a different crowd. Like I was a hippie for a time in high school. Like I hung out with the hippies and grew out my afro, and I was wearing Doc Martens. And then it was like, no, man, I'm going back to the jocks. And then I was like, no, I'm going back to the preps and I'm popping my collar with Abercrombie and Fitch. I went through every single phase, and with each phase got what I needed out of that group until either I didn't get enough approval or acceptance out of them, or I got what I needed out of them.
Yeah.
And then I would go on to the next group, always searching for something somewhere else. The external that you mentioned
Yeah,
instead of the internal.
definitely.
That's a forever search. You're never going to find
Definitely.
it. And the fucked up part is it was here the whole time. Right. We're looking everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's been here the whole fucking time. So that was some very, very insightful stuff that you shared.
Yes.
How long have you been at Team Recovery?
Since May 30th.
And what is your plan? What's your plan? Because you're doing great.
So I definitely want to get my CDCA, and I do want to be a huge part of this. I had felt like this before, but I was very apprehensive, and it was hugely because of the stigma that's associated with addiction. Also, I never really felt my authentic self before in treatment. And I had a year put together where I was very active and I was trying new things. And I really thought, this is it. And I was going in that direction, but I still came to that place where I felt like I couldn't outrun myself. And I do a lot of edification at home and everything too. And I would only be able to get so far with that. So now coming here, what I've found is that I'm experiencing being able to put together everything that I found in exploring edification. And then also here, like talking about my emotions, being able to, I also have an outside, mindfulness coach. I've been working with her for a while too.
Nice.
So she plays into this. So now I've been able to, the groups here are phenomenal. Talk about my emotions, identify them. And with her help through meditation and my breathing, be able to self-regulate so that my emotions are no longer causing me consequences or getting the best of me, because I do believe that's what happened. So I was doing all this external stuff, and it would work for so long. But then I would meet these certain challenges that I just could not get past. And I would feel like, excuse me, I'm doing everything right. Why isn't it working? So,
Been there.
and I didn't realize that it was my emotions that were really, and I'm not saying that things that I've been through haven't been valid, but there's come up, my emotions were really what's been getting in my way for all these years now. Not allowing me to process stuff, make me want to run. I didn't even know that I had the ability to do that.
Right.
And life is full of challenges. We talked about one group here. We watched something educational, that talked about two kinds of pain. Like you can choose your pain that's going to help you grow, or pain that's just misery. And now that makes sense to me, where I just didn't want any pain at all. And so I've come a long way in those areas, and it's all come together. And I do believe in God, and I do believe that this process has allowed me to get the understanding that I want and to live this out the way I want to live it.
Yeah.
And he's brought me to the right place and the right people to do it with.
Man,
I love it. I believe you're in the right place too. And, I don't know you,
Yeah.
but I know you. Right? Like we've all been through the same stuff.
Yes.
We've all been through the same stuff, and it is that pain. Like I guarantee you that if we sat here and chopped it up, there'd be so many similarities in a lot
Yes.
there. And so everybody speaks highly of you. I know that when we were going to do this,
Thank you.
and Juan and John kind of helped set it up. They said, she's it. She's the one. She's amazing. Blah, 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 blah. Gave us this whole backstory. And I was like, I'm really excited to interview her. So you're doing really good work, you know, and you should be proud of it.
Thank you.
Seriously. And become a CDCA, whatever it is that you want to do, you know, like, and you should also be proud of the fact that you are going outside of here and finding more.
Man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, my God, you're doing whatever you possibly can to say, and you're recognizing what didn't work the last time. So it was the emotional regulation. So when you say, I've had some failures, I've tried this, I've done this, this is what didn't work. I had to do some deep reflection to figure out what didn't work. And now that I've identified what that issue is, it's just like, I mean, a damn diagnostic of a vehicle, right? Like you look at, it's not the alternator, it's not the whatever, we got to freaking clean the spark plugs.
Right.
And because things that are going to trigger the emotions are always going to be there, right? Whether it's assholes or just mean people or whatever, right? Like those things are going to be there. We have to learn how to regulate our emotions. So realizing that and then saying, you know what, I'm not getting that here. The way that I need to, or it's good here, but I need it to be great because that's my weak spot. I need to go find an expert in that.
Yes.
And you did it.
Yes, definitely.
You did it. Like, so kudos to you because I guarantee everybody here, even myself, if I was like, you know what, I could really go find something else outside of here. Everybody can go find something else outside of here, whether that's exercise, their diet, when they get home, what their prayer cycle looks like in the morning or in the evening, if they're meditating, if they're breathing, like there's so much there. Freaking ice baths with water. Like everybody can go find something else to add another little weapon into their toolbox to fight this thing that's ultimately trying to kill us. That's all addiction wants is to kill us. So we should have as many weapons as we possibly can have.
Most definitely.
Man, go get those weapons. Every single one of them. Every single weapon, dude.
Yes. And I feel like all the things I learned through the years, it wasn't that they weren't really working. It was that my emotions were getting in the way. So now I'm still, I learned to exercise a few years ago, and now I've been able to re-implement that. And they're working in the proper way. They're not a distraction.
I love that so much.
I'm able to enjoy it, and I just feel like my life is so much fuller.
It makes me think, like hearing you say that, you know, certain situations, when it comes to application and being informed on how to tend or handle a situation, being knowledgeable of that, like hearing you say that, for me, what I would do I would highlight my emotion to a point where I was not open to receiving the guidance or to apply it, right? Like this moment is where I grow, right? This is where I face this problem. Like you said, to meet the challenge is what you said.
Yes.
And when other people would like present that to me, it's like, no, you don't get it. Or you're insensitive to how I really feel, right? You know, this thing happened to me that's causing me to feel this way, so I can't meet the challenge. And it's like, well, there's no other way, right? There's no other way. Like it's right now. This is the applicable moment for you to take that knowledge and do it. You know, and before the personalization of my deficiencies, my hardship, my pain, whatever it is, the personalization would keep me closed off. And what I had to do, I got desperate. And hearing that, right? I got desperate enough to say, just tell me when to change. Like people, I knew it was in front of me. I'd be like, well, what do I do now? You know, I know I'm supposed to do this. Somebody help me do that. You know? And that's a huge thing, having supports around where it's like, you know what, I trust you to pretty much tell me that my feelings don't matter in a way that is helpful. You know? I agree. Like, man, well, because I want people to confirmation bias. Confirm my bias and make me feel comfortable.
Of course. And throughout my process, I didn't want to let anybody in. And I feel like I'm finally at that place where I can authentically connect with people. But that's a process through my healing that's happened too, because I never really had any real relationships, but I wasn't able to contribute to friendships and whatever.
Substantial, healthy relationships. I get that too.
So now that I'm able, now that I am more sure of who I am, I'm able to have a lot better connections, in which I've been forming here lately, which is great. Thank you. And also, as far as the whole stigma and addiction goes, for the first time in my life, I can see past people's behaviors. And that used to be really hard for me to do. I know how to set healthy boundaries with people, so they don't affect me. But I used to couldn't, when I was trying to get well before, I used to couldn't be around people or see past their behaviors. Now where I'm like in my own lane, I can see past people's behaviors, have empathy and compassion for them and for what they're going through.
Good for you.
And relate, of course.
Dude, you've kind of blown my mind.
That boy's over there stuck.
I am stuck. I'm stuck on that whole concept of I never had healthy relationships, but like I wasn't healthy. So how the fuck could I have a good relationship if I wasn't healthy?
Right.
Of course I didn't have any healthy relationships or good relationships or peer relationships or strong relationships. I wasn't healthy.
Right.
So what kind of sane, rational, healthy person is going to say, let me go be in a relationship with you, you dumpster fire?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course I didn't have any good relationships. So why am I beating myself up for the way that the relationships went?
And if I'm being honest, I would choose relationships like that for a long time. I'm not going to say there wasn't periods of time that I wanted better, but I felt like I would be rejected or like someone would be lording over me or whatever. I didn't want to feel that. So I was more comfortable in those situations until they got where they hurt really bad.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? On the one-on-one, G was talking about this. Remember that? I'm Josh. Like I'm thinking about it. My son was talking about like I was isolated. I went through a lot of trauma. There was nobody around. Like who wants to be around my dad? Like who wanted to be around him? Nobody stuck around. He was like, so I had to learn how to be in society because like growing up, I'd be around people, but they'd be gone. You know what I mean? It was always somebody new. I'd never really learned how to form relationships with anybody.
I can relate
and
to
so
that.
like I'm like, holy crap, like what happened for me with my kid is that I never I had people around all the time, but that didn't mean that he learned how to be in relationships with people.
Right.
It was the opposite. Nobody wanted to be around me.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I can relate to that too.
Jen, this has been a really good conversation.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I'm serious. I wish we could sit here and talk for like 3 more hours because this is deep. This is like good stuff. This is contextual.
There it is.
It's just good.
Yeah.
It's just good. I can't get over that thought, man. Like that's a whole group.
Yeah.
That's a whole we could do a whole episode on that one thing that you said. I've never thought of it that way. That of course our relationships were always going to be just trash, dude.
Yes.
A relationship is a 2-way street.
Yep.
How can it be strong if I have, as one side of this 2-way street, am not bringing anything to the table? What am I going to attract in terms of relationships? So if we want good relationships, we got to take care of ourselves first. Yeah. We have to have something to offer to that relationship, whatever that is, with an employer or with an intimate relationship, with a lover, with friends, with whatever.
It's part of the buy-in.
I have to give something to you in order to get something good back. That's a relationship.
Right.
We also want to be with people or around people that we can relate to. I think that's why in early recovery, we make the mistakes of being in unhealthy relationships. And then being able to relate to somebody who's been where you've been, that's how people get help.
A sense of security.
Yeah. So definitely. I've been single for 3 years, but it's not that I'm bitter or don't want to eventually be married again or be in a healthy relationship. It's just that I know that I'm getting where I can relate to that, but at this point in time, I can't really relate to everything that I want.
Great choice. It's
Yeah.
a great choice, and you're right. Yeah, we want to feel that security. We'll go to that person. We can relate. You know? But man, you're making great progress right now. So if it's working, don't change it. So thank you. Seriously, thank you, Jen, for being on the show, and Juan as our co-host, and everybody that watched. Thank you guys so much. I know that you found something valuable in what you just listened to or what you just heard. And so because of that, I want you to share this with somebody. They need to hear and see what we just talked about. If you didn't in the beginning of the show, make sure that you follow or subscribe to our channel. We're trying to grow this platform as much as we possibly can and reach more people. We have a hotline, 419-561-LIFE. And I want you or anybody that is struggling to call us if you have questions. If that's questions about resources, if that's just basic questions about advice, or if you just want to vent, you can call us and you can do that with us 24/7. It is our job on that hotline to help you, to listen to you, to hear you out, or connect you to something, whether that's with us or not. We'll do our absolute best to help. So again, I want to thank everybody that came here tonight, and thanks everybody for watching. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next show. Have a good night.